The Egyptian president and his Kenyan counterpart discussed Sudan and boosting cooperation. Egypt's prime minister inaugurates the third global conference on population, health and human development. And Israel announced the opening of the Zikim crossing in northern Gaza to allow aid entry. It's 4 p.m. Cairo local time. You're watching Q News. I'm Henny Saif, and these are the news today. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has extended condolences over the recent Kenyan landslide victims and affirmed Egypt's solidarity. That came during his call with his Kenyan counterpart, William Ruto, who expressed deep appreciation for Egypt's support to Kenya. Both leaders highlighted the strength of bilateral ties and agreed to boost cooperation within their strategic partnership. They discussed regional issues, including Sudan, where President al-Sisi stressed preserving its unity and Nile water matters, reaffirming Egypt's development support while rejecting unilateral actions that harm its water interests. Egypt has launched the third edition of the Global Conference on Population, Health and Human Development. This year's edition presents a comprehensive vision of human development, addressing key themes that link global health with education, housing and the economy. The conference brings together an elite group of world leaders, policymakers and international experts to exchange insights and advance sustainable solutions. Egyptian Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has inaugurated the third global conference on population, health and human development in the new administrative capital under the patronage of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Held under the theme Empowering Individuals, Advancing Progress, Creating Opportunities. The conference focuses on investing in healthcare, the foundation for sustainable human development. It convenes global leaders, policymakers and experts to discuss healthcare, population dynamics, youth empowerment, education, AI and health economy, aiming to advance sustainable development, social equity and human dignity aligned with Egypt's Vision 2030. Egypt has extended its deepest condolences to Turkey following the crash of a Turkish military transport plane that resulted in multiple casualties among the armed forces. In a statement, the Egyptian Foreign Ministry expressed heartfelt sympathy to the victims' families and affirmed Egypt's full solidarity with the Turkish government and people during this tragic time. That comes as Turkish authorities confirmed that rescue efforts continue at the crash site, where 20 people, including the crew, were reportedly on board. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has highlighted the strong momentum in Egypt-Turkey relations, reflected in high-level visits and growing economic and investment cooperation. During a session, he noted the recent joint planning meeting in Ankara, preparing for the 2026 High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council. Abdulati also addressed key regional issues, including Egypt's pivotal role in Gaza peace efforts, the upcoming Cairo Conference for Reconstruction, support for Libya's political process, efforts to stabilize Sudan, and aligned Egypt-Turkey positions on Somalia and African security cooperation. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has visited the Turkish Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchanges and met with its president alongside senior Turkish business leaders. During his official visit to Ankara, Abdulati praised the role of the president of the union in strengthening Egypt-Turkey economic ties and highlighted the historic partnership between the peoples. He emphasized boosting trade to $15 billion over 5 years, promoting investment in the Suez Canal Economic Zone, expanding tourism links, and encouraging Turkish business participation in the 2026 Egypt-Turkey Economic Forum. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has affirmed Egypt's appreciation for the leading role of the Permanent Court of Arbitration, the world's first international arbitration institution. During a meeting with PCA Secretary General Marcin Zizpilak, Abdulati highlighted the strong partnership between Egypt and the court's secretariat and arbitration bodies, with numerous Egyptian arbitrators participating over the years. The Egyptian Foreign Minister emphasized his country's readiness to support the court in facilitating peaceful dispute resolution and investment arbitration, underlining Egypt's extensive expertise in international arbitration. And now we head to the latest developments in Gaza.
And then, of course, we have the host tonight, and I just want to thank you very much. It was a reason we chose Egypt, because you were very helpful, and very, very helpful. Everybody wanted to have this, but we really thought it was appropriate, and you are a great leader. And he's a fantastic man and a fantastic general, by the way. But he's a great president, and I want to thank Egypt and all of your representatives for treating us all so well. Thank you very much.
North Sinai Governor Khalid Megawer has confirmed that the Rafah crossing from the Egyptian side has remained open since October 7th of 2023, as Egypt continues efforts to deliver more aid and medical support to Gaza. He noted that over 5,000 humanitarian trucks are ready to enter the Gaza Strip, with fully equipped ambulances prepared to transfer the wounded for treatment in Egyptian hospitals. He reaffirmed Egypt's unwavering commitment to sustaining aid deliveries and providing all necessary services to Gaza's injured civilians. Singapore's ambassador to Egypt inspected the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing to assess ongoing humanitarian operations for Gaza. He reaffirmed Singapore's firm stance on the necessity of advancing a two-state solution as the only path to lasting peace. Singapore's ambassador to Egypt also emphasized that Israel must uphold its obligations under international law, stressing the importance of protecting civilians and ensuring unimpeded humanitarian access to the Palestinians. Egypt has dispatched its 71st aid convoy under the Zed Provision of Honor from Egypt to Gaza initiative from Rafah to Gaza via Karm Abu Salim border crossing. The convoy delivers over 8,000 tons of urgent humanitarian aid to Gaza. The shipment includes more than 3,900 tons of food and flour, around 3,000 tons of medical and relief supplies, and roughly 1,500 tons of fuel. Since July 27, the initiative has transported hundreds of thousands of tons of aid, coordinated by 35,000 volunteers, with Egypt maintaining continuous readiness at the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing to support Gaza's humanitarian needs. Israel has announced the opening of the Zikim crossing in northern Gaza to allow the entry of humanitarian aid trucks. The coordination of government activities in the territories, which oversees aid flow, confirmed that the crossing was open following political approval. According to Israeli media, the United Nations and international organizations will handle the distribution of aid after security inspections by the Israeli Land Crossings Authority under the Ministry of Defense. Gaza-based health authorities have announced that the death toll from Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip has climbed to over 69,100 and over 170,600 were wounded. The Gaza Ministry of Health has reported that hospitals in the Gaza Strip have received 3 dead and 4 others injured in the past 24 hours. And for more insight, we now move to Salma Al-Fi'i in our newsroom. Salma.
Thank you, Hani. And for further analysis, we are joined from Cairo by the former Assistant Foreign Minister, Ambassador Dr. Mohammed Hagazi. Welcome to Q News, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Let me ask you, how significant do you think is Egypt's role in sustaining humanitarian aid and medical support to Gaza since the escalation began on October the 7th, 2023?
A very important role indeed. It's not only political mediation, but also on the humanitarian front. Today, as we speak, the 71st dispatch under Zad al-Izza from Egypt to Gaza initiative, which we launched on the 27th of July,
yes,
have entered to assure that the scale of assistance that we are providing is a lifeline to many communities and the people inside the besieged Gaza Strip. And the breakdown of the materials that we have supplied is not only flour and food, but tons of it, and medicine and medical supplies. Means that Egypt and also fuel Egypt also is supporting Gaza Strip through Zad al-Izza convoys by many other lifeline facilities. And I believe that what we are doing to Gaza at this very important moment is to sustain the people on their territory in also understanding that the political direction of negotiation might take us through for some time. And we are working on the second phase in which Egypt is pressuring the parties to move further. And I presume that in a very recent advancement and future, they will be a breakthrough, I hope, in the fighters of Hamas stuck in Rafah tunnels, and they may resolve this problem to pave the way for the launch of the second phase of the political truth. And I presume that the United States sending 2 of its high-level envoys, Kushner
yes.
and Steve Witkoff, is also a sign of the political entry into the second phase.
Yeah, Mr. Ambassador, Governor Khalid Megawer, he mentioned that over 5,000 humanitarian trucks are ready to enter Gaza. What do you think are the challenges, if you can share with us, in ensuring that these deliveries do reach the intended recipients safely?
If it is to Egypt, we would have doubled or tripled the amount of food entry, but it is because of the restrictions imposed by the Israeli side on the other side of Rafah crossing that causes the delay and the limitation, which is denounced by all the parties to this agreement and the world community at large. And the humanitarian assistance shouldn't be a tool of this kind of besieged and wars. The Egyptian diplomatic efforts is ongoing. Humanitarian assistance is floating as much as the other side permits it to get in.
Sir, would you be able to tell us how are the Egyptian hospitals prepared to receive and treat the wounded from Gaza, and what medical services are being prioritized at this point?
I mean, we've been, since the beginning of hostilities, receiving injured, and critical surgeon has been undertook in the Egyptian hospital, not only in Al Arish nearby Rafah, but also in Cairo hospitals. And we keep hosting also the injured and their families as well. So Egypt is carrying many roles and playing very humanitarian and important role beside what we are doing on the political negotiating arena. We're working on the humanitarian, in the medical, in the surgeries, and our hospitals are open to our brothers and sisters who fought death and hatred from the Israeli authorities and army.
Sir, Singapore's ambassador, he emphasized a two-state solution and international law obligations. How does the international diplomatic support, do you think, such as Singapore's visit, impact the humanitarian operations at Rafah?
This is a manifestation of the role Egypt is playing, and a recognition of how important this role and how credible also, so that partners like this visit reflects the respect Singapore and other nations show to Egypt, role nearby one of the world's very dark pages in Gaza. And I hope that the support we are getting from our international partners like this of Singapore will help the Palestinians come out stronger from this hard and dark page of humanity.
Sir, the latest convoy delivered about 8,000 tons of aid, including food, medical supplies, and fuel. How do you think is the distribution process managed once the aid enters to Gaza?
Well, I think the mechanism that should be applied according to the agreement and the Trump plan is to return back to the United Nations agencies mechanism. Meanwhile, we are doing our best through our Red Crescent as well as the Palestinian Red Crescent to deliver our aid to the needy, and I think this is a way to hand it over to the deserved communities, as well as waiting for the international organization, particularly UNRWA, to resume back its role. And according to the second phase of the Trump plan for Gaza, the UN will cover this part of humanitarian assistance delivery.
Yes. Well, from Cairo, that was Ambassador Dr. Mohammed Hagazi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Q News. And now we go back to Hani Saif in our studio. Hani.
Thank you, Selma. Israeli occupation forces have arrested 7 Palestinians from Al Khalil Governorate in the southern West Bank. According to the Palestinian news agency, the arrests took place in Al Khalil city and the towns of Halhul and Beit Amr, following raids on homes which were searched and ransacked. Additionally, Israeli occupation forces demolished an inhabited house in Al-Walja village west of Bethlehem, blocking the main entrance. Military measures were also tightened at Hamra checkpoint southeast of Tubas, a key access route to the Jordan Valley. The Jerusalem Governorate has reported that Israeli occupation authorities have issued evacuation orders for homes and agricultural lands in Qalandiya within 20 days. The Jerusalem Governorate announced that the plan covers 130 dunams, forming part of Israel's ongoing illegal annexation policies. That comes as Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich reactivated old confiscation orders dating back to 1970 and 1982 to seize lands in Qalandiya and Beit Hanina. The Governorate urged the international community to act urgently to protect Jerusalemites from displacement and the environmental disaster posed by Israel's waste project in Qalandiya. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz has announced plans to close the Israeli military-run Galatz radio station by March 1st of 2026. Katz criticized the station as a anomalous civilian broadcast operated by the Israeli army, claiming it undermines soldier morale and misrepresents military views. He added that a special team will manage the closure and assist staff while preserving Galatz's public safety programming. The station's head denounced the decision, citing procedural flaws and potential political interference, pledging to resist closure and defend the station's role during wartime.
وضع شيء مرعب، شيء بخوف.
Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has emphasized patience for Israel's response via the U.S. regarding negotiations for land liberation. He stressed that force is no longer effective, urging reliance on the power of logic. Aoun highlighted the Lebanese army's substantial efforts across southern and other regions, affirming that the military alone is fulfilling its duties in the south of the Litani River. Lebanese Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri has warned that Israeli threats in southern Lebanon endanger all Lebanese citizens. Berri emphasized that Israel must withdraw from the south to allow the Mechanism Committee to carry out its responsibilities, underscoring the urgency of respecting Lebanon's sovereignty and ensuring regional stability. The Syrian media has reported that the Israeli occupation forces advance into southern Al-Qunaytira countryside, deploying along the road linking Abu Ghara and Suwaisa, where they set up a checkpoint and blocked civilian movement. The move follows a similar incursion into the village of Al-Simdaniya and Al-Mushirfa a day earlier. Syria condemned the repeated Israeli violations of the 1974 disengagement agreement, international law, and UN resolutions, urging the international community to take immediate action to stop such aggressions. The bloc of Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia Sudani, the Development and Reconstruction List, has achieved a major victory in yesterday's parliamentary elections, likely securing Iraq's largest parliamentary bloc with around 50 or more seats. Sudani hailed the result as a step towards protecting Iraq's constitutional system, noting voter turnout exceeded 55%. He emphasized that the outcome reflects citizens' trust and the government's commitment to delivering on public aspirations, marking progress in Iraq's political stability, economic development, and democratic consolidation. Ukraine's military has said that around 300 Russian soldiers were inside Pokrovsk, with Moscow stepping up efforts to reinforce its troops under cover of defense fog. The 7th Paratrooper Corps said Russian forces aim to reach the town's northern borders in an attempt to encircle the agglomeration. Pokrovsk, a former key road and rail hub, now largely ruined, has been the site of fierce battles for months as Russian forces advance slowly in eastern Ukraine. A Russian drone strike on Ukraine's Odessa region has damaged energy and transport infrastructure, injuring one person and sparking fires at multiple facilities. Video released by Ukraine's State Emergency Service showed firefighters extinguish the flames, though Reuters could not independently verify the footage. Local officials reported that the attack also damaged a depot of Ukrainian railways and left critical infrastructure running on generators. Governor Ole Kuiper said emergency centers have been opened to respond to the situation. Russia's Federal Security Service, the FSB, has said it had stopped a plan by Ukrainian and British intelligence to recruit Russian pilots to steal MiG-31 jet armed with a Kinzhal hypersonic missile for $3 million. The jet was allegedly to be flown towards a NATO base in Romania and shot down to provoke the alliance. One pilot was offered $3 million and Western citizenship. The Kinzhal missile is an air-launched hypersonic weapon Russia says is difficult for air defenses to intercept. Relations between Moscow and London remain tense over Ukraine. Moving on to the United States, where President Donald Trump has said that the agreement to end the government shutdown is very good and that he would abide by it, while acknowledging some details could still change. Trump said it depends on which deal is being discussed, but added that he believes it is acceptable. He noted that the agreement has support from enough Democrats and that the country will be reopening very quickly. He also addressed health care, saying his administration wants to shift funding directly to citizens instead of insurance companies, adding that work on the plan will continue in the short period of time.
And all of these others that they wanted to be given health care, which would have hurt our health care system.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced plans to roll out a new, most sophisticated air traffic control system in the coming weeks, aiming for uniform upgrades across all towers. Speaking at the White House, Trump also demanded controllers return to work after flight cancellations amid the 41-day government shutdown. He warned that absent controllers would face pay cuts, while offering $10,000 of bonuses to those who continued working. The shutdown has forced 13,000 air traffic controllers and 50,000 TSA agents to work without pay, with absentee rates at major airports reaching 20 to 40%. These are all the news we have for now, but before we wrap up, here's a recap of today's top stories. The Egyptian president and his Kenyan counterpart discuss Sudan and boosting cooperation. Egypt's prime minister inaugurates the third global conference on population, health and human development. And Israel announced the opening of the Zikim crossing in northern Gaza to allow aid entry. As we close this hour, polling operations remain active across 14 governorates with steady to strong turnout reported at major stations and no formal complaints. logged to this point. The NEA confirms continuous oversight over closing time and a further update later today. For more stories and live updates, follow Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram and TikTok at Q News EGY. From all of us here, thank you for watching.